Welcome back to the Ghost Story Channel, where we bring you mysterious and real ghost stories from around the world. Turn off the lights and put on your headphones to start listening to the story. The story: The River Under the Moonlight. Hoi was a 12th grade student living in a rural area of northern Vietnam, where small rivers wound through the village like the veins of the earth. He was a diligent boy, often staying late at school to study with his friends. The road from school to his home required crossing an old wooden bridge over the Day River, a small but deep waterway with water as dark as ink. The villagers often warned each other that the river wasn't clean, that a water ghost lurked beneath its surface, dragging people down on moonlit nights. But Hoi didn't put much stock in those tales. He thought they were just stories the old women told to scare children. It was an October afternoon, the air cool and crisp, with darkness falling faster than usual. After his study group, Hoi rode his bicycle home alone since his friends had left earlier. The wind whistled through the bamboo groves along the road, creating an eerie sound like someone sobbing. As he approached the wooden bridge, Hoi felt an unusual heaviness in the air. The constant chirping of insects that filled the evenings suddenly stopped, leaving only the faint gurgle of the river below. He slowed his pedaling, glancing down at the water. Under the full moon hanging in the sky, the river's surface shimmered like a giant mirror. But something strange caught his eye, though he stood right at the edge of the bridge. He couldn't see his reflection on the water. A chill ran down his spine. Hoi muttered to himself, "I must be tired, seeing things." He pedaled faster to cross the bridge. But just a few meters later, his front wheel jerked to a stop, as if someone had grabbed it. Hoi halted, startled, and looked down, nothing but darkness. Then, a soft laugh echoed from the river below, a high-pitched, unnatural sound, not human but like wind trapped in a throat. Hoi whipped his head around. From the middle of the river, a pale, dripping hand emerged, its long, black nails glinting in the moonlight. Following the hand was a head, rising from the water, its long, tangled hair covering its face, water streaming from every strand. Hoi screamed, dropped his bike, and ran. But before he could get far, something clamped around his ankle. Looking down, he saw that cold, wet hand gripping him, pulling hard. He fell flat on the bridge, clawing at the wooden planks to hold on. But the force from the river was overwhelming. In an instant, he was yanked into the black water below. The icy cold engulfed him. Hoi thrashed, trying to swim to the surface. But those invisible hands dragged him deeper. In the murky depths, he glimpsed a figure, or something resembling one. It had a pallid face, eyes like empty black voids, and a grin that sent shivers through him. It was the water ghost, the creature the villagers whispered about. Hoi felt its breath on his face, frigid and reeking of dead fish. He thought he was done for. His lungs burned, his chest tightening as his air ran out. But just then, a faint light flickered in the water. Hoi forced his eyes open and saw a blurry figure appear before him. It was an old man in a tattered brown robe, his white beard and hair flowing, his eyes kind yet resolute. Beside him stood an old woman, holding a bamboo staff, her demeanor gentle but her gaze commanding. The water ghost let out a furious snarl, releasing Hoi and lunging at the two figures. But the old man raised a hand, and a white light burst from his palm, forcing the ghost to shriek in agony before dissolving into the darkness. Hoi had no strength left to fight, his eyes fluttered shut. When he awoke, he was lying on the river bank, soaked but alive. Next to him stood his bicycle, upright as if nothing had happened, coughing and clutching his chest. Hoi gasped for air, trying to piece together what had occurred. The images of the old man and woman flashed in his mind, vivid as reality. Then it hit him. The old man's face bore a striking resemblance to the photo of his grandfather on the family altar. A man who'd passed away 10 years ago. And the old woman, though he'd never met her, had eyes identical to those his mother described when telling stories of his grandmother. Trembling, Hoi stood and whispered, "Grandpa, Grandma, thank you for saving me." A breeze rustled through the trees, as if in reply. From that day on, whenever he crossed the wooden bridge, Hoi would stop, clasp his hands, and silently thank the two spirits who'd saved his life. He never told anyone this story, knowing few would believe him. But one thing he knew for certain: the river under the moonlight wasn't just home to a water ghost, it also sheltered kind spirits watching over the living. And every moonlit night after that, Hoi prayed for his grandparents' peace, his gratitude too deep for words.